Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be doing an unboxing. This one is going to be a Gemini Jets unboxing. If you remember a couple weeks back I basically unboxed the NG models that I got for this month. This one is going to be the Gemini Jets unboxing. This big box on the left here, this one has, I can't remember exactly how many models in this box, but we should have quite a few of the new Gemini Jets models in here. And then on the right here we have just one model in this box. I'll explain what this model is when I get it out, but I think we're going to start with the big box. Okay, we have the box open here. I'm going to probably take this off to the side and then bring the models in one by one. And I know I said this was primarily a Gemini Jets unboxing, and it is, but we do have some NG models in this unboxing as well. We have the NG models EasyJet A321NEO. We then have the NG models La Compagnie Boeing 757-200. Moving on to Gemini Jets now, we have the Southwest Airlines Illinois 1 737-700. We then have the Gemini Max Luftwaffe A400M, the Gemini Jets Spirit A320NEO, the Gemini Jets British Airways Concorde, and then last but not least for the big box we have, I'll put it in the back, but we have the Gemini Jets Antonov 124. Then moving on to the smaller box, my cat seems to be getting quite involved in this one, so I do apologize for that, but in the smaller box we have the Gemini Jets Southwest Airlines Louisiana 1 livery. This one is an airplane shop exclusive, so that's the reason why it arrived on its own. I do actually want to give a bit of a shout out to aviation.mco, or you may know him as Ben. Because this one is an airplane shop exclusive, I wasn't able to order this from the UK. It's basically, I believe, a US only model. So Ben actually bought this on my behalf and then shipped it onto me, hence this kind of arriving a little bit late. But I do want to give a lot of thanks to him, and he does have his own YouTube channel, which I will link at the end of this unboxing. But without further ado, I'm going to add that to the pile, and we have a lot of models to unbox in this video. Okay, and starting off with the first model of this unboxing, we have the brand new NG models EasyJet Airbus A321NEO. This is a part of my slowly growing European short-haul collection. Of course, along with this I have my Wizz Air A321, various British Airways short-haul aircraft. But despite that, this isn't actually my first EasyJet model. Of course, if you remember, about a month ago now I unboxed my EasyJet A350, which was a fictional model, as currently EasyJet operates an entire A320 family fleet. Speaking of, this A321neo is the largest aircraft they currently have in their fleet, but I'm going to talk more about that once I actually unbox the model. So we have the box here. As you can see, it's got this generic orange design in the background there. We've got, of course, up the top the type of the aircraft, the Airbus A321neo, the clip art of the aircraft here, the EasyJet logo down there with the registration, and the NG models logo down here as well. Over the period that these models have been released, I have found that they have kind of refined the boxes a little bit. As you can see, like early on, the A321s used to include like a cardboard kind of tray inside there. Now they don't actually have that. We're just left with this is kind of like the Gemini Jets design, as I like to call it. We just got the two kind of plastic cradles and then the plastic sheet in there to protect the paint on the aircraft. Inside the cradle now we have the plastic sheet, as I said, and then we have the model, which is looking very, very nice indeed. Okay, and here we have the model, an absolutely beautiful representation of course, the EasyJet A321neo. Currently, EasyJets have 14 of these in their fleet. They are primarily based out of London Gatwick. They have 10 of those 14 in the UK branch. Of course, those would be the 10 that are based at London Gatwick, but they also have the extra 4 that are currently flying for the EasyJet Europe subsidiary. On top of those 14, they do also have another 16 of these aircraft on order, and as I said, this is currently the largest aircraft that EasyJet operates. They fly these on their high demand kind of destinations, so of course London Gatwick is where they're primarily based, but they fly from there to various destinations. One of my favorite flights they do is the Gatwick to Keflavik routes. They also fly to Amsterdam, Paris, Milan, Rome, Barcelona I know is another destination they fly to. So again, a lot of the larger airports within Europe. But taking a look at this model in detail now, as you can see up the front here, we have the A321 nose piece there, a beautiful mold by NG Models here. We have the cockpit windows here with the Neo kind of emblem up there. Then back here we have the L1 door here with the EasyJet titles, no L2 door on the A321neo. And then of course we have the forward landing gear up here with one of the antennas at the front here. Moving then to the middle of the aircraft here, we have the giant A321neo engines. Not too giant that they're unrealistic, unlike Gemini jets, but we do indeed have these engines. One thing that I did actually miss on my JetBlue A321neo that I unboxed a couple weeks back is in that unboxing you can clearly see that the engines were actually bent downwards. Somehow I didn't pick up on that though, but this EasyJet's A321neo doesn't have that problem, as you can see, and I've also had some previous A321neos in the past and they haven't had any problems like that. So I'm pretty sure that was just an isolated kind of incident to do with the NG mold. Above the wing here, of course, we have the two overwing exits here, the winglets, which are in orange, of course, and then near the rear of the aircraft we have the Neo kind of logo back here. EasyJet currently have this kind of logo on all of their Neo aircraft, including their A320neo aircraft as well. We then have the emergency exit here and the rear door of the aircraft here, along with the registration somewhere around here, and the should be the UK flag as well. And I've just seen where the registration is. It's just down there. It's very hard to see with the sunlight, but there's the registration down there. And then at the very rear of the aircraft here, we have the EasyJet tail with the APU exhaust at the back there. And that does conclude this model. A very, very nice one from NG. If you do have the need for this aircraft, I would definitely recommend it. And next up here, we have the second and also the last NG model of this unboxing. We have the NG Models boutique airline, or La Compagnie, Boeing 757-200. This box design is really nice. As you can see in the background, we've got this fade from this dark to this kind of like silverish blue up here, which kind of represents the actual livery on board the aircraft. We then have the La Compagnie kind of logo in the background there. We then have Boeing 757-200 up the top there. And then down towards the bottom of the box, we have the NG Models logo and again the La Compagnie logo down there as well. And opening the box now, of course, this is the Boeing 757 from NG, and this was kind of the mold that made NG kind of blow up in popularity. It's an absolutely amazing mold and one of the first ones they ever released. And I'm pretty sure they've released almost every Boeing 757 you can think of. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. We of course have the top piece of the cradle there. We have the under piece, the kind of like tray piece on the bottom of the styrofoam. And then we have the styrofoam with the model inside. We have the plastic piece there, which you can go over there. And then we have the model inside here, which I can take out. It's always a bit nervous with the polystyrene, but there we go. There we have the model, and again, that's just a beautiful model. And here we have the model. It's an absolutely beautiful one. I've admired this aircraft in real life for years. La Compagnie operated 2 of these Boeing 757s. They first flew them in 2014 and then they retired them in 2019 in favor for the newer Airbus A321neo, and they now operate 2 of those A321neos. These are of course famous for their flight from Paris Orly to Newark. However, that's not the only routes these used to fly. Originally, it was a joint venture between kind of the UK and France. They flew these from London Luton, London Stansted, Paris Orly, Paris Charles de Gaulle, and also Nice in France. They flew from all of those airports to Newark. However, today only 2 routes remain. It's the Paris Orly route from Paris Orly to Newark. That's an all year round route, and then they also operate the Nice to Newark route. That one is a seasonal flight, however. As I said, they did also used to fly out of London Luton as well. However, after Brexit, I believe it was, they actually stopped flying that route. La Compagnie, they're such a unique airline because they actually operate an all business class cabin. But despite that, they are and stick with me here, they are a low cost business class airline. So what that means is they're low cost for business class. So although it is quite expensive to fly on this airline, compared to flying business class on Air France or British Airways, they're actually quite cheap, hence them being a low-cost business class airline. Now this airline also serves a pretty interesting deal. You can actually pay $40,000 at the start of the year, and then as far as I'm aware, you can actually fly unlimited flights from Paris to Newark. On top of that, their name, their livery, it just seems like such a posh airline. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this model. So starting off here with the front of the aircraft, again, the 757 mold from NG is absolutely flawless. I don't think I ever have and ever will see a broken one of these aircraft. And on top of that, this livery is just amazing. I love this kind of silverish blue that they use. It's really nice. Then we've got, of course, the La Compagnie titles up there. Got the L1 and L2 doors here, moving back on the aircraft. We have these Rolls-Royce engines here. We have the wings of the aircraft, of course. And then at the rear of the aircraft, we have the tail with the boutique airline logo on the back there, and then we have the registration with both the British and French flag. The reason why I got this aircraft is just because I've admired this airline for years. There was actually a period, I believe in either 2018 or 19, I was actually in America at the time, around Washington Dulles, and they were actually operating for about 2 weeks solid, a few daily flights from, I believe, Nice and Paris Orly to Washington Dulles. I got pretty excited because I was wondering whether it was just an unannounced kind of route that they've started, but sadly that stopped shortly after. And that was actually in a very interesting period in the airline's history because they were operating both the 757 and the A321neo, and so it depended day to day whether you would see a 757 or an A321neo at Dulles. And I did actually make it down to Dulles one day and I saw one of these aircraft come in. It was the A321neo, I didn't see the 757, but still, nevertheless, it's an amazing airline, and that's pretty much the only reason I got this. Again, I believe NG could release the A321neo of this airline, and that would be really cool. I'd probably get that one as well, just because I have this fascination with this airline. But yeah, a really cool model, really cool airline. I can't wait to add this to my collection. And next up we have the Gemini Jets, the first one of this unboxing. We have the Gemini Jets Spirit Airbus A320neo. Now this one, of course, is going to be an interesting one. Gemini Jets aren't renowned for their good Neo mold, so this one's going to be very interesting indeed. Of course, we've got the classic Gemini Jets box. I won't go through it that much because of course you've seen this a million times. So unboxing the aircraft now, we can take out the cradle to reveal the model inside. We'll go ahead now and open this. These tray pieces here are a lot harder to get open than the NG ones. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there we go. Have the plastic there, and we have the model on the inside. Not broken, that's a good thing. Okay, and here we have the model. This is the Spirit A320neo by Gemini Jets. And I have to admit, it's not a bad little model. Apart from the engines, they are of course way too large for this mold. But honestly, apart from that, it's not a bad little model. I think I would get another one if of course I would say of course I need another one. The A320neo is kind of the main Spirit aircraft you see at Baltimore. Spirit currently operates 32 of these aircraft with another 81 on order. This is by far just going to be the main aircraft the Spirit operates. At the moment, of course, they have more A320s than A320neos, but as the A320s are retired and the A320neos are brought in, this will definitely become the main player for Spirit. Taking a look at this model now, just zooming in here, and starting off at the front of the aircraft here, we've got of course the nose of the aircraft, the L1 door here, a little antenna with the forward landing gear. In the middle of the aircraft we have the Spirit titles, which are slightly outdated. I believe kind of Spirit have this I wouldn't call it a new livery, it's more like a refresh livery, where kind of one of the main details is this kind of Spirit title here. As you can see, this livery has kind of the letters all scratched up deliberately. The new livery doesn't actually include that. I believe it's just kind of like plain Spirit titles, but that's kind of nitpicking. Of course, maybe Gemini Jets designed this model before that change was made. But then down here at the engines, of course, the huge engines here, we have Home of the Bear Fair down there. We have the fan blades on the inside of the engines. If you can see with the sunlight that is, you can't really see them, can you? Oh well. Moving back on the aircraft, we have the tail of the aircraft, where we have the rear door here, the registration with the American flag, and of course the Spirit tail here. Yeah, honestly, not a terrible model. I know I take it out on Gemini Jets a lot, but it's, of course there are improvements. I would love for those engines to be just smaller, but at the end of the day, it's not drastically bad. And then next up here, I think we're going to unbox both these aircraft at the same time. We have on the left here, we have the Gemini Jets Southwest Airlines 737-700 in the Illinois 1 livery, and then on the right here we have the exact same plane but just in the Louisiana 1 livery. This one on the right, as I said at the start, this is an Airplane Shop exclusive, and I do again want to give a big shout out to Aviation.mco. He was the one who purchased this aircraft on my behalf, as of course I live in the UK, so I want to thank him for that, and I'll link his channel at the end of this video. I think we're going to start with the Illinois 1 aircraft. I think we have, of course, the white box here. A lot of the Southwest models come in this white box, and then just opening up the box now, the cradle inside there and the model inside the cradle. And there we go, here's the second model. This does indeed bring my total kind of Southwest state livery collection up to 6 aircraft now. There are some more that I could get, but I'm just trying to keep up the kind of like the new release kind of trend here. I don't really want to go kind of back and buy any of the older ones, as a lot of them are in kind of outdated liveries, and some that aren't, I just might as well wait. Gemini Jets has been on a tear recently releasing these state liveries, so yeah, I might as well wait, because at this rate they're probably just going to release all of them. Now, Southwest have a huge number of these 737-700s in their fleet. They have, at the moment, 477 737-700s. That is an insane amount. Like, that's just mind-boggling. And for those of you who don't know, they don't have a state livery for every state in America, but they have almost a state livery for almost all of their hub states. So, for example, Illinois, they currently have a hub at Chicago Midway, and Louisiana, they have one at New Orleans. So it's almost like each livery represents that hub. So this one kind of represents Chicago Midway, then this one kind of represents the hub in New Orleans. So I'd love to get, of course, my hands on the Maryland one, 737-700. So the Louisiana 1 livery was painted in 2018, and this Illinois 1 livery was painted in 2008 in the Canyon Blue livery, and then it was repainted into the Heart livery in 2015, and then sadly in 2020 this one was actually repainted. It wasn't really repainted, it was just taken off of the aircraft. I believe this aircraft was, I don't know if it was put into storage or whatever, but it was actually painted into an all-white livery. But I don't believe they want to kind of abolish this livery. I believe they're planning on repainting a lot of their state liveries onto the 737 MAX 7 aircraft. So they might just be holding off for that, or I'm not sure. Again, I don't know the ins and outs. But yeah, these are both beautiful liveries. They pretty much resemble the flag of the state. As you can see, this is the Louisiana flag. Here we've got this like crane. I'm not sure what bird this is. It looks like a crane. And then on the engines, as you can see, we've kind of got its chicks here, and the underside of the engines, if I can kind of flip this around, you can see that the underside of the engines kind of resemble the nest of the chicks. And then of course we've got the big kind of the big main bird on the actual fuselage of the aircraft here, and then at the back here we've got this banner which says Union, Justice and Confidence. On the Illinois 1 livery, however, we have a different kind of bird. We have a bald eagle. This bald eagle is accompanied by this, I'm not really sure what this emblem is. It's kind of like the American flag put into a shield form here. Probably has some professional name, but I'm not really sure about that. Then the bald eagle is carrying this like red banner here. Looks pretty cool. I actually have a fond memory of this aircraft when I was on board my British Airways 747 in 2018, my last 747 flight. I remember looking out the window and seeing this aircraft as well as an Avianca A320. So I've been after for a very long time to try and kind of recreate that look at Washington Dulles. When I get Washington Dulles up and running, you can expect that look. I have a BA 747, then an Avianca kind of A320 if we get an A320 that is, and then this aircraft as well along with the mix. But yeah, really cool aircraft. I can't wait to add these to some of my Baltimore updates. But there we go, these are two beautiful models, and again I can't wait to add these to some updates. Okay, next up we have a very exciting aircraft. This is my second Gemini Jets British Airways Concorde. As many of you probably know, I do in fact already have a Concorde. Here it is. I'll put it down here, I think. Actually, it's kind of out of shot. This Concorde is Golf Bravo Oscar Alpha Charlie. This one is the flagship of the BA fleet. This aircraft was the first one to go into operation with British Airways. The reason why it's the flagship is because, of course, the registration BOAC is also the name of one of the airlines that kind of came together to form British Airways. But this is the new Concorde by Gemini Jets, and this one is Golf Bravo Oscar Alpha Bravo, or BOAB. This one is currently the one that's being stored at London Heathrow. It's the only one left at London Heathrow. And yeah, I bought this again just because I can't get enough of the Concorde. It's one of my favorite aircraft of all time. Of course, why wouldn't it be? It's one of the only successful commercial kind of supersonic aircraft. And no matter how much, you know, these companies like Boom try and make a new kind of supersonic passenger aircraft, it will never beat the Concorde. This thing, you know, in the 1970s was flying passengers supersonic, and they're struggling now in 2021 to make another one. The Concorde for me will always be just the number one, and if anybody has anything else to say about that, well, fight me. I'll put the BOAC one behind it here so you can kind of get a nice like Concorde lineup shot here. I would honestly love, and I would do this, if Gemini Jets kept on releasing the different registrations of all of the Concordes, I would buy them. 20 Concordes were made in total, 10 were built in France, 10 were built in the UK. 4 of those 20, 2 were French, 2 were British, those were the prototype aircraft. The 2 British prototypes are currently in Yeovilton and Duxford, that's where the other one is. Then the remaining 8 from France and the 8 from the UK, those ones went to the airlines. So 8 of course went to British Airways and 8 went to Air France. Not all of those 8 went into commercial service. Both Air France and British Airways kept one of those Concordes that they had and used that Concorde as a kind of, I don't really know how to describe it, kind of like a tester aircraft as it were. The tester aircraft for British Airways is the one currently at Brooklands, and they use that aircraft to kind of, for example, when 9/11 happened, that was the aircraft they were testing kind of new cockpit doors on. And so little features like that, they would kind of play around with that Concorde to see what worked, what didn't, before then adding it onto the main fleet of the other 7 Concordes in the BA and Air France fleet. So of course here you've got BOAC and BOAB, but you've also got A, D, E, F, G, and you know, and so on. One thing I have noticed is this is the exact same mold as the previous Concorde, so it's pretty much just a re-release in a different registration. Up the front here, of course, you've got the cockpit here of the Concorde, the kind of the very long cockpit. Of course, you've got this line behind the cockpit here where the nose would kind of pivot, would kind of point downwards for landing. Then back here, of course, you've got the L1 door and the British Airways titles with the Speedbird logo there. Moving back on the aircraft here, you've got these the wings, of course, the Delta wings here, absolutely amazing. On the underside here, you can take a look at those Rolls-Royce Olympus engines. Look at those things. Those were some mean engines. And then at the back here, we've got, of course, the tail of the British Airways Concorde with this kind of like morphed Chatham Dockyard looking tail thing here. The registration back here, which is of course Golf Bravo Oscar Alpha Bravo, and then here back here we've got the tail strike wheel on the back here as well. A great model, and I can't wait to add this to my collection. Again, Gemini Jets, I would love it if you guys kind of just released even more Concordes. It's a bit weird that they released the British Airways Concorde. The British Airways Concorde is actually the easiest to find at the moment. The Air France one, however, is the most hard to find. I'm hoping that Gemini Jets release an Air France Concorde as well. I would buy it in 1:400 scale, but I don't think I'd buy the Air France one in 1:200 scale. Then there's of course the Negus livery, the Landor livery, the prototype liveries, the Pepsi livery as well. Then you've got the Negus livery with the Negus on one side and the Singapore Airlines livery on the other. So honestly, if I was Gemini Jets, I would start releasing some of the other more obscure kind of Concorde liveries as well, and that'd be really, really cool. But with that being said, we're going to move on to our next model. Okay, I'm going to have to move out the sun for this one, but we have the next model, which is the Gemini Max Luftwaffe A400M. We have, of course, the classic Gemini Max box with this kind of metal design in the back, but apart from that, it's pretty much the same as any other Gemini Jets box. Then inside here we have the cradle, which includes the A400M. Opening the box here, we have inside here the model, and this is just amazing. The A400 mold, in my opinion, is one of the best molds that Gemini Jets makes. This is the second A400M that's been released by Gemini Jets. The first one, of course, was the Royal Air Force A400M, and we can confirm that more are on the way in the future. We had a future releases of the French Air Force A400M, and I'd love to see some others like the Spanish Air Force and various other air forces like that. I think I will try and buy all of the A400s that Gemini Jets produce, just because I love the A400. This is my favorite military cargo aircraft. Germany currently operates 35 of these A400s, with another 18 on the way in the future. As you can see, there's not a ton to go through on this model. It's pretty much the same as the Royal Air Force one, just with Luftwaffe instead of the Royal Air Force. We have the props on the front here, as you can see, very detailed. They do spin as well, of course. And then here, as you can see, we've got the nose of the A400, we've got the cockpit windows here, the Luftwaffe logo, of course the props, as I said. Then at the rear of the aircraft here, we've got the Luftwaffe logo here with the side door here. Then at the back here, we've got the tail with the German flag. And again, I'm not sure whether the back of the aircraft is supposed to open or not. It looks like it is, but I don't want to force it open to break it, so I'm just going to leave that for now. If any of you guys have got your A400 to open, let me know and I'll maybe try and force it a little bit more. But yeah, I would highly recommend this model. It's an absolutely beautiful mold from Gemini Jets. And the other reason why I got this as well is the Luftwaffe A400 does actually come to Dulles quite regularly. I'm not exactly sure why, but it does just appear at Dulles every now and again. And with that being said, we can now move on to our final model, which is the absolute big boy. We have the Gemini Jets Volga Dnepr Antonov 124. This box is actually the same box Gemini Jets uses for their A380s, so you can tell this model is going to be huge. This one was actually quite expensive, and I do have a bit of a disclaimer for you. I have already opened this model and I'm actually very disappointed. I'm just going to cut to the chase now and kind of show you what I mean. But yeah, I'm not very happy with this model in the slightest. I'll show you why. I'm taking the model out of the box here. As you can see, we've got the huge kind of tray inside the box. And here we have the model with the plastic, of course. And there we have the model. Okay, so oh boy. I'm not sure whether this is the same mold as the original Antonov 124 that's been released, but if this is, I don't like that mold. First off, let's start out with the elephant in the room. I don't know what's wrong with this wing in particular, but that's not how an Antonov 124 should look. If you look at just how low that engine on the right here hangs, that is what I would expect from a regular kind of aircraft, not an overwing aircraft like the Antonov 124 is. But what's weird is it's different on both sides. As you can see, this one, very low, probably like a millimeter, maybe 2 on that side. On this one, we have like a good 4, 5, 6 millimeters. I would even say this is too low. But that's put to shame by this side, which is literally almost touching the ground. I don't know whether this is a common mistake. I don't know whether this is a mistake across all of the Antonovs, but my one is like this and I don't know why. There are some other small little features that I don't like about it as well. I'm not a fan of this nose mold here with the nose gear as well. Look how flimsy that nose gear looks. And this is coming from somebody who also has the Antonov 225. Now I know the Antonov 225 is a much larger aircraft than the Antonov 124, but I do believe that these wings are meant to come to about the same height, but look at that. That is not the correct. These are meant to be near enough the same. Look at that. And as well, the other thing I'm not a fan of course, this is kind of, this might be a just me thing, but I'm not a fan of the kind of one-piece design, one-piece wing design, I should say, that Gemini Jets has gone for. As you can see, both wings are the same kind of mold. You can see the lines kind of coming across here, showing that this is just a one-piece wing design. The Herper Antonov 225, however, this is correct. This is how you do a model. Look at that. We've got the two lines kind of stretching both down each side of the aircraft. That just looks a lot nicer, a lot more cleaner, and that's just overall a much better model. So yeah, I'm just not happy with this aircraft at all. I was really looking forward to getting this aircraft. This is one of the last cargo aircraft I kind of need, kind of like one of the last iconic cargo aircraft. 55 of these were built. Currently Volga, Dnepr, they currently operate 12 of them. They are grounded at the moment, and these do actually make quite a common appearance at Washington Dulles, and I was really excited to kind of have this in my collection, and then it turns up like this. I'm a little bit angry just because I was really looking forward to this aircraft more than any other aircraft in this unboxing, and so yeah, I'm just a little bit annoyed. I'm hoping that this is just a one-off deal and it's just mine like this, but do let me know if you got your Antonov 124 like this. Look at that, that is touching the ground. Look, that's just not right. I'm sorry, but look at that. But yeah, that's just of course, you know, all the other models in this release, even the Spirit A321NEO, Gemini Jets has done actually a pretty alright job on, but this, I'm just not happy with this. But yeah, just like that does conclude this unboxing of these aircraft. Again, all amazing aircraft apart from the Antonov 124. These two Southwest aircraft going to make great additions to Baltimore, as well as this Spirit A321NEO. I was about to say A321NEO. The La Compagnie and EasyJet, amazing models by NG, no exception for NG there. Again, the Concorde, old model, old but gold model there. We got the Luftwaffe A400, again, absolutely amazing. Probably one of the best molds Gemini Jets has ever made. And then we've got this thing here. So yeah, I want to thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.